Here we are, it's day 2 at Tea in the Park, and I'm with Greg James, who's been handling a great deal of the BBC's coverage for the festival, despite the extremely typical summer weather that we're having here in Scotland. How's it been going, Greg?
It is typical, but that's what we expect. I think it would be. I would hate a dry Tea in the Park. It wouldn't feel right somehow. Don't you think? Isn't it part of the whole thing?
Actually, you do get used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
You do get used to it.
Everyone. If you expect the worst, then you're pleased when it's not maybe as bad as you.
It's the old Billy Connolly adage, isn't it? There's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Very, very wise.
What's your experience been of the festival so far? Who have you been talking to? Who have you met? Who have you seen?
Well, this is my second tea. So last year, because it's early on day 2, right now, I've not really seen that much. I saw a bit of Kaiser Chiefs yesterday, some of Tiny, and a bit of Snow Patrol, but we were on telly for the whole evening, so I didn't see that much. But last year, I got to see Calvin Harris and Primal Scream as well. One of the most amazing things I've ever seen. I'm not a huge Primal Scream fan back in the day, but that was an insane show, especially in front of this sort of home crowd.
I thought Primal Scream was the highlight.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
Amazing. Now, tonight, obviously, you've got a choice of quite a few good acts. You've got obviously David Guetta and Calvin Harris again, and Stone Roses. What would be the act to see today at Tea?
Well, I'm a huge Calvin Harris fan. I think he is an absolute genius. He's had the best year. Actually, quite an underrated good year. Out of everybody, out of all the pop acts, people forget how good his year has been. Not only amazing singles that he's done for himself, he wrote that Cheryl single, which was a #1 smash, and he wrote Rihanna's biggest single, We Found Love. So he's had an amazing year. He's just a genius. And also in front of a home crowd, it can't go wrong. Vaccines, I'm a huge Vaccines fan, and they're on the old Radio 1 stage, and I think they are one of the few guitar bands that have actually cut through and sold a load of records, so they're really impressive, I think.
And there's also been, it has been mooted that you're going to take over from Chris Moyles. Is that happening, or is it still something that's just kind of in the air as a possibility?
Unless you know different. No, it's not. It's not happening. It's I've made no secret of the fact that I would like to do the breakfast show one day, but it's only like in any other company really. You want to progress in the company, and you want to get the best job, and you want to. I think if you're a DJ on Radio 1 and you don't aspire to be on the breakfast show, then there's something wrong, I think. Why wouldn't you want the biggest show? But I've had the best 5 years I could possibly have imagined. There was no way I could have thought that when I first started at Radio 1 5 years ago, that in 5 years I would be on the Drive Time show, which was always the show that I thought, it was kind of the show that got me into radio, because you finish school, put the radio on, you're like, oh, who's this? And you go, oh, it's Moyles. So I'm in Moyles in the afternoons. That's what got me into Radio 1. So to be on that show now, and just starting out on it, it's a dream. And that sounds like the biggest cliche in the world, but it really is, because that is exactly where I wanted to be, and it just happened quicker than I thought. So I don't want to get ahead of myself and kind of go, right, breakfast show next, because I will take my eye off the ball
It's
a little
too
bit.
soon for the breakfast show because you're quite new to Drive Time, is that what you mean?
I just think I've got loads to do on Drive Time. I've barely even begun, really. It's been, 10 weeks or so on Drive Time? It would be stupid to look ahead at the next move, because any move from any show is a huge change for not only the audience, for me and everything. So it would be stupid for me just to go, right, check that off, let's do the next thing, because it's not like that at all. I've got a lot more to do on this show yet.